Anybody who follows this channel will know that I don't have a lot of time for conspiracy theories, and I think it's important to debunk this sort of nonsense. I am, on the other hand, very entertained by the esoteric, the arcana, and that that world of magic and the occult. I think it's an interesting milieu, mostly a literary milieu rather than something that actually holds purpose and actually holds genuine meaning. For example, uh, there was a rash of claims a couple of years ago that Nostradamus had predicted the coronavirus scourge, the COVID outbreak, and the the claims were based on a prophecy which was translated as being in the twin year, that would be in 2020. There will be a queen who will come from the east and spread a plague in the darkness on the country with seven hills. That's Italy. Transform the twilight of men into dust, and so on. The the quotation is invented, and there is no quotation from Nostradamus. It's not part of the quatrains. This is this is something to fit the facts. It sounds like a Nostradamus quatrain, but it really isn't. And there are a number of references to plagues in Nostradamus. Why wouldn't there be? Plagues were a part of life in 16th century France. And the problem with Nostradamus's quatrains is they're all over the place. And he didn't do his predicting or his seering or his divining. He stared into water, and he saw aspects of the future or whatever in the way water moved in the darkness of the water, rather like somebody who might look at clouds. This year, there's a number of predictions which the newspapers are making that Prince Harry will become king, that the King of the Isles will be forced out, and a king who doesn't have and someone who doesn't have the mark of kingship will become king. Again, this seems to me to be far fetched. There's also a prophecy understood to be the death of Pope Francis, which I think is probably predictable anyway. He's not well, and so I think you the war in Taiwan, a naval war in Taiwan, and I think that's the bulk of the stuff coming out at the moment. And dryness in the earth, so worries about global about climate change, and none of that should come as a great surprise that these things are there, but I don't think they're particularly there in the Nostradamus prophecies or Malachi. What's the name of the fellow? I can't remember the name of the fellow. And the whole it's the flip side of this obsession with trying to see patterns, conspiracy, and yes, it's very comforting to see a pattern. It gives one a sense that there is order, But the reality is the order is very difficult to discern even once we've had it. So being able to identify it before it happens, I think, is unlikely. I think it is possible that time is elliptical, or that people can somehow perceive the future as they can perceive the past. I think that's perfectly possible. But I don't think it's possible for people to be this precise. And I certainly don't think that this is anything more than selling newspapers and playing games with recognized names. I wouldn't give a lot of credibility to it. As for the conspiracy stuff, the reality of life is that it's disordered, and there isn't an overarching organization puppeteering our lives. If there were, we would know about it. And those few people who try and control generally get it wrong. So the thought that there could be organizations, quite a number of organizations, that we cannot identify, that are so consistently succeeding and so consistently causing chaos. No, chaos is caused by chaos. And chaos is not caused by some maniacal individual or a maniacal organization trying to do its worst. Hubble, bubble, toil and trouble. There are no witches on the heath.